Hi, I'm Dr. Hilary Coulombe from Glen Oak Dog and Cat Hospital, and today we're going to talk about cat nutrition. My assistant Evelyn will be asking me some questions.
Dr. Coulombe, how does nutrition impact the health and well-being of my cat?
So nutrition plays a huge part in your cat's health and well-being. If we feed them good nutrition, proper food, they're going to live long, healthy, and happy lives.
What are the nutritional requirements I should be aware of for my cat?
Yeah, so things that you're going to see on the bag might be, the protein, the minerals, the vitamins, the fat content, as well as, making sure that they have plenty of water available. So what I would recommend is using a well-known brand food like Hill's, Purina, Iams, anything with what's called an AAFCO standard. And that makes sure that outside, how do I want to explain AAFCO? AAFCO is a group that rates different food to make sure that it has all the nutrient profile that your cat would need. So if you get a food that has that, you can feel comfortable feeding it.
Okay. Where do I find AAFCO?
AAFCO will be on the side of the bag. So it'll be listed under, when you look at the ingredients, it should be by there. It's AAFCO, and you can look for that little marker on the bags.
Great. Will my cat's nutritional requirements change throughout their life as a kitten, adult, and then a senior cat?
Definitely. So kittens, obviously growing, require a lot more calories, a lot more nutrients. Adult cats, if they're spayed or neutered, are going to have a little bit of a different nutrient profile if they're not spayed or neutered. So we'll want to feed them an adult food. And then as we get into senior cats, that's going to kind of depend on different issues that your cat might have. If they have hyperthyroidism, if they have kidney disease, all really common things. So really important to start getting blood work on your cat, especially when they're younger. So that way we have something to compare it to and we can recommend appropriate diets as they get older.
Great. What are some signs and symptoms of poor cat nutrition in my pet?
So poor nutrition would be issues with the skin and coat. So if you're noticing hair loss, we have like a dry or a rough coat. If there's any sort of skin issues, they can also have a loss of appetite. If your cat really liked their food and now they don't, maybe there's something going on with that, especially changes in weight. So really important to have your cat weighed at the vet. Changes in their stool. So if we're having some diarrhea, that could be related to the diet, and also behavior changes. So if your cat is eating a ton or not eating a lot or hiding, those would be all things we want to check out.
Okay, are there common food allergies in cats, and how can I tell if my cat is suffering from them?
So the most common food allergies we see are chicken and beef, mostly because their cats are really exposed to it. It's in almost all the treats and foods that we typically would give them. Signs of food allergies can present as either GI, so vomiting, diarrhea, or they can have skin issues sometimes. They can have, like we talked about, that dry, brittle coat. They could get skin infections. So if you're noticing any of that, really important we get them checked out.
All right, when it comes to cat food, what and how much should I be feeding them, and what do you recommend the most out of all of them?
So that's going to be kind of dependent on the food that you use. So we have kibble, we have canned food, and then there's also the fresh food. I typically recommend looking at the manufacturer to see kind of what they recommend feeding for your cat's weight profile. Obviously, some cats may need a little more, some may need a little less, but usually that's kind of a good guideline to start. I also like to recommend offering all different kinds of food to your cat, especially wet food. They're a cat that only eats dry food and then they develop kidney disease later in life, and all of a sudden we want them on a wet food diet. That's going to be a really weird change, and cats don't appreciate change. So just making sure you're offering them different, not necessarily types of food, but different textures of food. So canned, kibble, fresh, just to get them used to it. If you have any other questions about cat nutrition, feel free to give us a call.